Cool. Yo guys, yes, welcome back. It is your boy CT the PT here, aka Clive. We're back in, it's just three of us in total. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves then.
Come on, man, it's Daniel Iron, you know who it is.
Yeah, it's Michael Gear, Mike Muscle on Instagram.
We go again.
Let's go again.
Go on.
Yeah, man. Mike Muscle on Instagram. YouTube, Mr. V Taper.
So that's an introduction for those that haven't tuned in yet to our previous one.
Yeah.
So boys, how are we? How are we doing before we jump in? We all good, yeah?
Steady.
Life is just life, isn't it?
Life and doing its thing, innit?
Steady, man.
Literally. I was thinking about, how was your competition? You saw you competed, did it?
Yeah, man. No, that competition was proper. There's strong guys
Is
there,
it?
man.
Swear.
So, yeah, this is body strong weighted calisthenics competition. Like, if you didn't know, yeah. So I competed in the under 94 kg category.
Okay.
I think I was one of the heavier guys, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah.
You placed where did you place as well?
Placed third. So no, I did. I'm quite pleased with myself. It was some strong
how
guys.
acquirable was first? Is it?
Oof.
Is
Okay, so how I would explain it, yeah, you got the four lifts, which is the muscle up, pull up or chin up, dip and squat, right? And so obviously the whole point is to get the highest lifts in all four and get the overall highest total.
Okay.
So I think the winner got, I think it's 450.
450. What was the strongest?
60 or something like that.
What was the strongest lift?
Squat, of course. Isn't
Squat,
it?
yeah, probably.
Of
Yeah,
course.
obviously,
So I think he hit 200, maybe 210. I think 200 actually. Yeah, because I remember he said he hit 220 like the week before the competition. I think it took a lot out of him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so squat is where like
That's
if
the
you
most-
if you
that's the-
flop all the
yeah,
other
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
make
Just save it
up
at
for
squat.
it. Yeah,
No, that's cold. It's good. I mean, it's good to see the man them doing stuff with
No,
themselves,
for
man.
sure,
literally,
for sure,
literally.
exactly.
Putting your body to the test. See where you rank. You know,
Exactly.
Competition.
exactly.
Good.
Bro, I encourage all of you man to do it
Yeah.
because when you go there, you get more motivated to continue training.
Yeah,
You get motivated to train harder,
it's true.
and it'll bring out more from you as well.
Definitely. Do you think then? Because this is something I was thinking about as well. Are you guys plan to have sons one day, right?
Most definitely.
Are you gonna get them training and stuff as well?
Oh, yeah,
Can't be weak out, yeah.
exactly.
I hear that.
Exactly.
I hear that. And I was just thinking, is there a reason why we do that though? Why would we want, for example, why do we want our sons to be, I don't know, let me think again. Why would we want our sons to train? Like, why are we pushing them towards that basically? Because some hear it and like, don't be so hard on him type of thing. Like, why would we want to, what is the reasoning to us actually pushing our sons towards that direction?
It's like you want to give your kid a foundation. Like me personally, I never got pushed into any kind of sports, nothing like that. Everything was off of my interest or me begging my parents really.
Yeah.
But it's like, as I've gone into it, I started off cool, like primary school, secondary school, I was trying to play football and stuff. But what I really wanted to do at the time was I wanted to do kickboxing or like Wing Chun. I just loved like martial arts. Yeah, my parents was like, never. You know, I was like in primary school. I used to get in fights. My parents were like, never. You're gonna go cause trouble. I'm like, but as I grew up, started boxing. I think just before I turned 18 or 7. Yeah, maybe around then. And discipline.
Yeah.
You learn humility because you get your ass beat so many times. And you meet people, if you saw them on road, you think this guy's wet. Like you wouldn't think this guy has hands. But you see people who you would never imagine who are incredibly strong fighters, right? You learn discipline. Like I learned how to be the hardest worker in the room because it was like, it became like a almost felt like a life or death thing, you know.
Yeah,
If I'm being lazy and I'm getting in the ring against someone who's trained hard when I wasn't, I could literally die.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
basically.
saying? So there's all these things that was instilled in me, brotherhood as well.
Yeah.
Training with guys, all wanting to improve, like no bitterness or ego attached to it. Just everyone training to better each other. Having a masculine role model, a leader, my coach, who, you know, I could look up to, be honest with, and who I know always had my best interests at heart.
Facts.
These are all things that I've taken from sports and I've absorbed into myself and has made me the man I am today. And I'm like, why the hell wouldn't I put my kid through that?
Yes. Facts.
Don't go easy on him for what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's much more to it.
Come on.
I was literally thinking, like, so then what if he doesn't want to go through that process? What if, like, how do you react if he doesn't want to really put himself through such struggle?
To be honest, it's not everyone wants to. It's not like I want to do every single time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I think the first thing I would ask is, okay, if he says, Dad, I don't want to do this. I say, what do you want to do? If he says, I don't know, then he's definitely doing it.
You better find something.
I'm forcing it. But let's say, for example, he's like, oh, Dad, I want to do cheerleading. I want to do gymnastics. I want to do art.
Yeah.
I'm like, fair enough. But you're still doing this on the side. Like, that can be your main thing. I don't know. Maybe you want to go to some class for something you like 3 times, 4 times a week. I'm like, cool. But you're still learning to defend yourself at least once or twice a week. Just because you might not appreciate it now, but you will do. The people you'll meet, the situations you'll find yourself in, the confidence you have when you're out and about. It's, you can't buy that.
You can't buy it.
You guys think that too much comfort breeds weakness then?
Oh, most definitely.
Do you know what? That was literally what I was getting at. Because, how am I going to attack this? How do you think, for example, if I had a son and he's going to school and whatnot and I'm pushing him to be a warrior, if he then goes on YouTube and an advert comes up before a video he's trying to watch and the advert is an all-inclusive, plus-sized advert pushing towards like, the narrative they're pushing in terms of all-inclusiveness for plus-sized individuals, right? Because then referring to comfort and weakness in the most respectable way, my son's gonna understand that builds a mentality where it's all right to be comfortable. It's all right because there's a space for you. You know, like think about the imagery that comes to my head is when you're in bed, right? It's like, oh no, we'll put an extra pillow under there for you. Don't worry, you stay. Or is it a rip the covers off, get the fuck up and go to, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm starting to see there. And it's like, how, like, which direction are we, do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like,
it genuinely makes me sad. Because I can't get my head around why. But whoever's orchestrating this is either incredibly stupid or incredibly evil. Because you either don't know why you're doing it or you do. And if you do, that's even worse.
It's for power, it's for reasons that
reasons we can't comprehend.
Deeper
reasons. Man.
Exactly. But it's destroying the Western population for sure.
100%.
Obesity, laziness, depression. And these are things that they're encouraging. You know?
Do you know one thing I refer to in terms of just obesity as well? It's not, because I don't think fat shaming should be called fat shaming, but I think it should just be called fat awareness instead. So what's happening is you are referring to the mentality behind being labelled fat. What were the things that got you to that stage where you became fat? I'm right to say that you just kind of wake up and you deep or you're fat? I don't think it's a thing where you don't notice you're fat until you're fat kind of thing. So it's like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong and I'll take full accountability if I am, but I don't think anyone is willingly fat. Do you know what I mean?
At least not, not
you
conscious.
You just find yourself fat, like, and it's like I can relate to myself where there's been times I'll be going through some dark times, you know, quite down, and I'm like, I notice I'm more my appetite's through the roof. I literally binge. There's this chocolate, dairy milk, white Oreo chocolate. Oh my goodness. I'm a slut for it. But there's times like that, I'll be binging loads of these things. And this period will last for like a week or two, you know, and that, you know, no one will probably see me through this period because I'm genuinely in a down space. Do you know what I mean? So I go through that, but I can imagine that multiplied to maybe, I don't know, 6 months or 8 months. Because for me, I can accept that it's a phase and that it's in its totality, it doesn't mean anything to me because I don't attach to it, I don't identify with it. But I can imagine how someone like that, you know, extend that scale, them little mini decisions. Oh, let me buy it. Boom, boom. Next thing, you find yourself fat. I don't think it's a thing where you're willingly fat, and it's like, what was that? Because you didn't attack the steps before that could have prevented you from getting to that stage in the first place.
I think they're addicted to the dopamine release that they get from eating the food. But then once it goes down, it's like they're addicted to that taste in your mouth. Yeah. And then over time,
you just find yourself.
That's scary.
Yeah.
It's like it is a high, really. Yeah. And when it goes down, you want to go again. That's why you keep eating.
Yeah.
And they don't want to work out to burn it. So it's a never-ending cycle.
Dopamine.
I think therapy should be a free service, you know. Because
do you know what is though? No, because not certain therapy. Because not the therapy, not the matrix therapy. That therapy keeps you. It keeps you. There's things behind that. Yeah. Like, oh, go on, take these pills then. If that was free, that more people are on pills, and that's what we don't want.
Exactly.
That's what we don't want. No, like, do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones.
None of that. When I say therapy, I mean like talk therapy. Yeah. Like, get to the root of the problem, because people don't do that, right? Most people don't have a supportive network, right? I've said this before, especially like with girls, yeah. Like, I've seen this numerous times, yeah. A girl will be like, oh, I really need to lose weight. And girls be like, no, my God, you're so beautiful. Like, who said anything about her? She just said she needs to lose weight. And like, they think they're being supportive, but they're hurting their friend.
Are they trying to be supportive though, you think?
Yeah, that's true, exactly.
Or they're lying to them.
Well, do you know what it is? Because I can understand, because it's like because I can understand, as I can relate to myself as well. I've lacked self-esteem before, so I can imagine what having a good supportive friendship group can have, like, in that scenario where you'll feel good. Do you know what I mean? But then, like I said, is that you just laying another pillow for them to stay in bed, or is it get out of bed, you ugly shit? You look you look meaty. You don't look good.
Exactly.
Obviously, they're not going to translate it. They're not going to obviously address it like that. But oh well.
I think it's the pillow thing.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think it reflects on yourself as well, because I think as guys, man, you'd rather hear the honest truth. I think so. You know, definitely, like it's gonna hurt. Like, bro, you might cry. You might even want to scrap your friend. But you rather be told the truth. Like, you're not gonna, bro. It's like. None of your boys tell you got crust on your lips or something, and you walk in a motive, people are looking and laughing. Like, wow, no one could tell me. You think it would have been more embarrassing when I was with you, man, before I went into this motive with all these people.
I hear that.
But girls, they're like, I'm saying girls, but just generally,
that tends to.
A lot of people don't like feeling bad. They don't feel like feeling negative emotions, even like regardless of how long it's for.
Yeah.
And even, bro, that even spills into like short-term gratification and all that. You know, people don't like feeling bad, even if it's just for a little while.
Do you know what I have about feeling bad? Well, just to take it a notch a bit deeper, like, think about feeling bad. So think about anything that feels bad from an energy perspective, like, you know, anxiety, depression, feeling bad. In a primal sense, where we were in say we're the animal kingdom, for example, fear and anxiety that's your primal instinct to survive. So out of fear, what's happening now is you're aware of any predators are after, and you're on your back. Do you know what I mean? It's a survival mechanism. So that's in an animal sense. But in a human sense, when you feel anything bad, it more or less is a kick up the arse into something that could turn good, if you know what I mean. Like it's about it's about your journey and how you hold on to the negative in life as a whole. That is what you, I don't know, it's kind of what you harness out of it, kind of thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly. I remember I remember when I left my office job, right? It was a difficult decision to make, right? Because it was like comfort, security, it was all there, you know. And so I remember I took a long leave of absence, and like the day before I was supposed to go back, I remember I was in the gym, I was doing some dips, and then I was just like mid-set, I was like, shit, I'm meant to go back to work tomorrow. And I felt so anxious. I was so anxious. And I'm like, okay, us guys, we're conscious. Like us three can say that we are conscious of our thoughts and of our actions. So
what does that mean? You're asking yourself, what does it mean then?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I'm like, why am I feeling anxious?
Yeah.
So like you said, bro, literally your body, your mind is trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what does this mean? Why am I anxious right now? That means there's something about this workplace that I don't want to be in that environment. So I'm like, cool. What is better for me to go back to work and stay in that state of anxiety, or leave,
spread your wings and fly.
spread your wings and fly.
Yeah,
exactly. And there was that fear of leaving. You know, I'm gonna be out of a job for a little while, but I'm not gonna die. I had to rationalize it. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, isn't it? It's true, actually. Sometimes it's like a shift. It's like because like they say, for you to think about what your future could hold, the thoughts you're generating are only based on the past and now. So the future is always unthinkable. It's something that we've not imagined yet. We can't imagine it because it's not happened. So our brains literally can't even create a chain of thought or scenario that could be your future. That's not how it works, isn't it? It's actually out of our control. So it's almost like you got what they're saying on the Insta, that, you know, the canon arc and stuff like that. Yeah, like it's just like everyone's kind of going through their own shifts, their own narratives, their own chapters, and everyone's writing their own books at the end of the day, to be honest. I think that's when my life changed, you know, my perspective on life as a whole. When I started seeing it like a story, and that you're the creator, you're the narrator, I started taking things way more, well, I don't know, more intentfully, I'd say, like way more intentful with my actions and just my everyday life, present moment, you know. It's mad.
Also changed my attitude towards negative scenarios and situations. Like if something would happen before that made me feel like really down, I've found recently, I'm like, this is gonna be a really cool story to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's gonna be a really cool turnaround. Like, but I do think that whole protagonist narrative is healthy, for sure.
Definitely.
A lot of people think they're insignificant.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people do. Why? Where do you think that came from? Where do you think it comes from for most people?
Low self-esteem.
Where does it stem from, though? Where do you think it roots from? What common thing do you think there is?
Good question.
What that causes?
Just the lack of self. What do you think's the point before waking up, some would say?
I think it's just taking a stand and realising I'm better than this. I'm better than what I'm doing right now. I feel like sometimes we do things that are taken away from us. We don't even realise it. Over time, it's eating away at us. And then we look around and ask ourselves, why don't I love myself? Why do I feel this way? You know what I mean?
Yeah. why do I feel this? So the conversation you have with yourself, like even what you said when you were squatting,
right?
This dialogue, that conversation about inner dialogue is what seems to shift things.
And I feel like most things stem from at home and at school. Well, I mean, as a kid, like, those are the only places
social
you're going to be.
environments, yeah,
Exactly. So it could be you didn't get much attention as a kid, either in school or at home, or like you didn't, I don't know, maybe you didn't win a lot of things, like not getting recognized. What can actually make you feel insignificant?
Because it's a question I don't even know the answer to. I'm thinking, what was the point for me? Because it's like it's an ongoing thing, isn't it? It's like a process. It's a process that takes place. But I agree with you. A lot of, because it will be a collective of things and thoughts and narratives, and a lot of the thoughts are definitely in the school environment. That was when, I mean it's part of the developmental stages. That's when you become more anxious, you know, stuff like girls come into play, the whole alpha aspect, because now you approach different types of men now, you know, you're seeing what power and status is in another world, basically, you know. So
people hitting puberty before you.
Yeah, hey, listen, yo, I'm telling you, them man that had beards in year 7 and that, boy, I've never shaved this once. I'm clinging on to this in my dear life, boy. Nah.
That's a good question, man.
You get it?
Even, I think it's a lot of, it's crazy, right? It's a lot of internal dialogue versus what people tell you. It's like the battle for who's going to win over what you believe about yourself. You know how crazy that is?
That's
like,
it.
I remember as a kid, right, proper young in primary school, right? Maybe like, let's say year 1 to year 3, 4, something like that. I was very much, like, from what I remember, I was very much a loner, right? But I knew how to enjoy my own company. Like, even my primary school was surrounded by like forests and that. So I remember walking around the field, playing games within myself, talking to. I remember I believed I was talking to God, right? Playing with God and playing like things like that, and I would have fun a lot of the time. I never really needed anyone to have a good time, right? So I remember in that state, I would think, bro, I think I'm lit.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but then you grow up and then you come across people who see you and they're different to you, so they think you're weird. So it's like, this is what I think about myself, but 1, 2, 3 people, maybe they come and say something else. They are conflicting beliefs. They say, oh, you're weird. So it's like, now, it's weird. I don't know that exact moment when what other people said about me I guess overrides what I think about myself.
So why do you hold their...
It's not, I think you just register it. Like, it's a perspective you've not had before, because all the perspectives on life were your own and only your own. So inevitably meeting other people, rubbing off on different energies and hearing different opinions, it's a new perspective, and that's what, and then you learn, oh, the world isn't just you kind of understand how limitless life is. So you don't, but then what happens in that is you don't then rely on your own, because you don't know. You realize you're not 100% but neither are they.
Yeah.
So there is no truth to lie on, or there's no like outright thing to just like solidify on, basically, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, really.
Exactly, man. A lot of it is almost blind faith, but it's like, am I willing to just hold on to this, like hold on to my thoughts, my beliefs about anything, about yourself, anything.
Go through this battle every day, man.
Real shit,
Every
man.
day.
Yeah.
It's one of them ones. Just gotta stick to your own, you know.
Yeah. I've got things as well, but it's like, yeah, we've been thinking, man, since this last pod, we've all been cooking up some thoughts, man.
For sure, man.
But I don't mind going into anything, man. I'm here, man.
Bro, I've got a notebook full of shower thoughts.
Yeah.
All the men that were deep in their thoughts this week, boy. Don't kill me. Now we got loads of stuff to cover, man. This is just scratching the surface still. I'd love to see it.
Let me see.
Yo. What do you think the world would be like, if we were all spiritually enlightened beings? Like, none of this going through the motions of figuring out what life is. None of this daily battles. Imagine, like, let's say 5 years from now, everyone's just spiritually enlightened. Everyone is God level, GCSE, PhD of life.
Yeah.
Everyone just has it. Everyone knows everything. Everyone is awake and aware. Like, do you think there's any more point to being here anymore?
Do you know what's mad? Because I wrote this down as well. I was asking myself, is there a point where we can reach that? Are we even meant to reach that? Is there a reality where we do reach that point? But just to add on, just to refer back to what you were questioning, it's hard to tell because that would manifest differently for each individual, the dark and the positive, like the positive and the negative energies as well.
Right.
Because if a dark person spiritually, he's reached his potential spiritual enlightenment, it's a shit show. But say it's like good v bad, you know, it's like almost like you're superhuman. Wow. And it's like, how does that manifest for each individual? It's crazy to think about. What would that be? I don't know. It's mad. It will definitely be unearthly. So definitely, whatever I can think of, it can't be based on. We'll be flying. We won't even be on the. We won't even need the planet. Like we are literally the universe at that point. So it's like, what does that even look like?
Instant transmission.
Do you get it? Like, no, that's crazy. Boy. But no, I mean, it's quite hard to answer that one. But then how is that possible? Is that ever a place? Are we as humans meant to experience that? Do you think that's in our script?
Man.
Well, for everyone to be enlightened.
Do you think, because I don't think so, it's definitely not going to happen in our time alive.
Definitely not.
Do you know what I mean? Do you think, but time ahead, do you think that is maybe what could happen? Or are we getting any closer, do you think? Is it getting worse? It's hard to tell. Like, what do you think?
I guess it's what you define enlightenment.
I mean,
what do you define it as? Is it your inner connection? Or is it knowledge?
I think the way I see things, right? I see in life, I believe there's one truth, right? And I guess for people to become aware of that. But it is difficult because there's so many questions.
So many layers to it.
How do you interpret? How does one person interpret this truth? This might sound different to them. It's
That's
crazy.
That's the thing.
But oh man, it's difficult to say.
Yeah. Do you know, one thing I will say is there is no like top level of enlightenment to reach. Like we've had this conversation before where it's like, it's not a matter of like, for example, some spiritual guru who's 70 years old lives out in the forest in Thailand or something. He's no different to next man in ends. So like, it manifests differently for every individual, and it's like there is no, because what we're referring to there now is the concept of spiritual enlightenment. There's a reality of it and there's a concept of it. Right. The concept of it is you're this Zen guy in this Zen state, you live out in the forest away from society and you speak all these soft things about life, but that is, you know, a way it's expressed, that's the way it manifests, but then it manifests differently in the way we're having this conversation, for example. There is no, just because they've had more experience in life than us, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're more enlightened than us. We're all the same essence, we're all the same awareness of reality. So it's about, and all we're doing, and I said this before, all we're doing is living and having a conversation about it. All we're doing, in the most literal sense, all we're doing is being and having a conversation about it. When you go into that workplace, oh, you're right, Daniel, how was your weekend? Yeah, you're working on the work floor. Go home, or, you know, the bus driver, oh, you're right. We're all just being and interacting with other iterations of ourselves. So that being the case, like, there is no end point to reach, basically. That's what I was getting at. There is no end point, because we're all just having the same we're all the same awareness of reality, having a conversation about being. That's it, basically. Literally.
And I have a slightly differing belief or understanding, right? But in my, like, as far as everything you said, I 1,000,000% agree. Like, we are all basically having conversations with iterations of other iterations of ourselves, right? But what I see as enlightenment is becoming one with the all, right? In the sense where now you're connected to everything. And it's like currently in terms of my, I guess, spiritual studying, like one of the main, I guess, avatars, you could call him, I'm studying is Jesus, right? And it's like, you see him say things like, well, I guess almost like read minds, almost in a sense where he says things about people that only they would know, right? Like I remember a story where he met a woman at a well. He asked her, "Where's your husband?" She's like, "I don't have one," and he's like, "Yeah, you got 3." She's like, "Rah, just expose me like that." But what that is, what I see that as, right? And there's other people, like other, I guess, yogis or gurus that have done and can do the same thing like that. That's just where you've got to a point where you become the all. You are connected with everything. So you are me, and I, like, we know that as a construct, as a statement, as a fact. But it goes, I think enlightenment goes a step further. Rather than just hearing, having knowledge of and understanding, it becomes an experience, right? The same way you know that there is I guess a pervading force, right? A God, a creator being, right? We know that, but to go the step further is to experience that in whatever way that is, right? And I know some people have this maybe in psychedelic trips, from, for example, from series of meditations like monks and things like that. Yeah, I think that is what it is, becoming like where I can sit here and say, yo, I am you and you are me, right? And I say that just because it's something I believe. But for another bro, let's say Mike is like, the guy is just secretly Jesus or something. He's he says it, but it means something different because he felt it, he experienced it. So I think the difference, what enlightenment is just that little step between knowing and experiencing. And I think it's a beautiful thing, man. It's something I'm chasing.
Knowing and experiencing.
I think it's also mastering both sides of yourself, the good and bad.
People are scared of
both in a way. You know, can't beat ourselves up about the things that we're not good at, the things that, you know, we struggle with. It's about accepting that, this is my flaw. And just, I don't know.
Because we're perfect the way we are. We are where we are right now, being in God's light, in God's image, just the way we are. We're fine. We're always good, kind of thing, innit? It's a very liberating way of seeing life as a whole.
There is no right or wrong, is there?
Essentially.
Everything's part and parcel, you know? It's all...
part of a parcel.
Yeah.
It's part of the package.
Exactly. I think that definitely helps you navigate life a lot better.
And you want to start eating yourself up about the things that
happen.
Yeah. That's what's humbled me a lot, man, definitely.
I definitely don't think the purpose of life is to, beat yourself up about negative things.
Yeah.
Because regardless of whether you've done something good or bad, now getting into a low vibrational state about it, it's not doing anyone any good.
Because it's part of the script, isn't it?
Yeah,
precisely.
Story.
Exactly. Yeah. But things have been put in place to blind us from seeing things that way.
Yeah.
And that's the distortion. That's the big war that we're kind of in right now, whether you recognize it or not. It's just navigating that, really.
Okay, cool. The deep psychology behind people not respecting nice guys. What do you think of that? Because they're nice people, right?
Yeah, they're nice guys, yeah.
Why are they not respected, though? As human beings, why don't we respect them? Why?
I had a conversation like this, similar to this a while ago, right? And my response is, there's a difference between a nice guy and a good man. You know what I'm saying? Like a nice guy, I don't see a nice guy as a nice guy, because how would you describe a nice guy? I think it's very
nice to that individual, innit? And every individual is different. So
exactly, exactly. And I just don't see them as stand up people. Like when it comes to, like, I've experienced people who you would call nice guys, right? And for me, I always notice there's an agenda.
Something off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's always an agenda. And the agenda might even seem innocent. It might be, I want people to like me, so I'm going to act a certain way. But even that, I think this is cowardly, because you should want to be who you are, and whoever likes you, whoever doesn't. That whole sense of people pleasing it's a fickle thing. You know, those people, they always end up getting exposed, because in the pursuit of trying to get, you can never get everyone to like you anyway. So you're always going to do something wrong. It's just it's a even crazy game
to think about. Let's even ponder on the perspective of a nice guy. Naturally, and you've heard this before, naturally, humans, we're drawn to negativity anyway. So for example, hate, for example, does more numbers on the algorithm than anything good, for example. If you've got the nice guy, complacency, comfort, he's the nice guy, he's predictable. You can't predict the bad guy. You're thinking, you're more on edge with him naturally, do you know what I mean? So that being the case, is it that he's just respected or just not acknowledged as much? It falls into the same thing, but it's like you're definitely not paying as much attention to the nice guy because he's just the nice guy. He's the nice guy. The bad guy, he can hinder me. He's a threat to me. The nice guy's not a threat to you. That's the truth. So, whoa. Do we want to be the nice guy? It's the question. I don't think. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
It's what you said, being a good man.
Yes.
Man. He has the capability of being a bad man.
Yeah.
He's choosing not to.
Exactly.
It's bang on spot.
But why don't people like them though?
The nice guy.
Yeah. But they've been a nice person though.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's genuine. I don't think it's genuine.
I find it sick as human beings how we're able to like read people behind their intentions and stuff. That's quite cool, man.
Yeah.
That's sixth sense. That's a sixth sense.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
People don't deep it, but it's real.
Boy, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. I think definitely nice guy. He's gonna be around. I don't even know. I want to go into something. I don't know. I can't go in that deep. I probably might cut this out. I might cut this out because it's deep. But with I might leave it in. I'll see how I feel. With my ex, the truth is, having her around all the time, complacency settled in because I knew she was mine. She was the nice girl. She was a nice girl to me. She was kind to me. So I noticed I could actually slack off a bit more in myself. I noticed I wasn't being as attentive to her because it was like, she's just there anyway. Do you get it? I know that. Do you get it? I know. I was just bothered by it. Do you know what I mean? Not like in a bad way, mischievous way, but man, them will know in it. If you kind of get it, you get in it. Niceness was complacency. I knew she was gonna be there, so I just kind of was just being, just acting up a bit sometimes. So thinking about that is like, again, what to expect. When you know what you're expecting, you're just naturally going to not even fall off or slack off, but just not, because it's there. Yeah. Your bedroom's clean, so you don't have to clean it when you get home, and you're gonna go into that room assuming that the bedroom's clean, and when you walk in, it's clean. Exactly. So it's like this is like a boom, boom, boom. This is meant to be there. This is meant to be there. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of them ones.
It's just them fewer synapses that have to run in your brain.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
do you get it?
It's like, you know what vanilla ice cream tastes like. It's just,
Do you get it?
But it's like, you could choose a new flavour ice cream you never had before. You've got this little anxiety of, is it going to taste good?
Like all of a sudden, more thoughts are covering your mind. Do you know what I mean? So that is the psychology behind the nice guy, if anything. He's just the nice guy. He's nice.
Nothing else there.
Nice requires minimum energy, minimum effort, minimum concern. Just nice.
Yeah, you hit that, man. You hit that still.
So the way it's looking, might have to wrap it there.
Yeah, I'll also leave it then.
Yeah, that's all good.
We got bears for next time.
Bro, we know, man, listen, we got some depths to go into. When we get more time and just wait on us, man. Defo. No, I like that though. But yes, my people. A different one today. Different type of feel, different type of conversation. To be honest, just to make it clear, we don't plan our conversations before we jump into them. We just kind of come in feeling how we feel, being where we are, and then that's where all the insights and unlayering takes place, you know? Being one with yourself and the reality we're all a part of. So on that note, we're gonna cut out there. We're gonna end it off there. We'll leave you lot to it then. Anything you guys want to plug in before we run off?
Honestly, socials will be there, right?
Yeah. Everything will be down in the description and somewhere. So just check.
And I want to plug my YouTube channel actually.
Oh, you're starting YouTube now, yeah?
Yeah. I've had it for a minute. Yeah. Just not done as much long form content. I changed my name recently. I think it's MowgliGains.
Oh yeah, MowgliGains.
MowgliGains. That's the one. Yeah. So make sure you follow that. I'm gonna have some good content out there, man. I'm gonna have these guys on it as well, man.
Yeah, man. We here
some
for it,
content
man.
out in nature, man.
We here for it, for real.
It's gonna be lit, man. You wanna be there for
vibes, man.
jungle vibes. You know it, man.
Back to our roots, boy.
That's it,
man.
But yes, you lot, take care. Then we'll leave you lot to it. Catch y'all later.
Come on.